What's going on, guys? It's Zach. We're back with a full training video for you here. We're hitting quads. So I showed you guys last week in my DUP style training that I'm doing, I'm front squatting once a week. And then after I front squat, I'm hitting quads. So I'm gonna show you guys that whole workout today. So let's get right into it. Front squats. So few points I wanna make with front squats. A lot of people shy away from them. They're actually a really great movement for the quads, for the upper back. Oh, curveball for the upper back actually too. So you can see here, I'm going with a more Olympic style hand position with, my wrists, my elbows cocked back like that. If you don't have the mobility to get into that kind of position, you can go with your arms crossed and holding the bar up there against your upper chest, your clavicle there. Don't choke yourself out, still got to breathe when you're doing these. If you can't get your hands crossed, you can put wraps on the bar, hold those. There's a multitude of other ways to hold the bar. If you can't, don't give me that excuse. You can't hold the bar up there to do front squats. So you can see here a few other points I want to make. Wearing my Addy powers, those give me a little bit of heel raise so that my ankle mobility. My ankle mobility is pretty good, but if you have really bad ankle mobility, you're definitely going to want to pick up a pair of these, or just throw a 5-pound plate under your heels. That's going to allow your knees to track. It's going to allow you to get into greater knee flexion and really allow those knees to track out over your toes and for you to squeeze the quads. Now, you notice I'm not going all the way down. Trying not to bounce out of the hole in these. And I ended up going pretty heavy, I think for sets of like 5. But I'm really trying to screw my feet into the ground. I'm trying to break at my knees, and I'm trying to allow those knees to track forward. And then at the bottom, I'm really driving my knees out and squeezing my quads. And I'm not coming all the way up either. So that's going to be a common theme, throughout this workout, trying to maintain tension on your quads throughout most of these movements. So, really try to feel your feet. I say that to some people and they're like, what? They look at me like, huh? Like, feel your feet? What, dude? Like, but just in your head, be conscious of how your feet are feeling. And it's easy with these with these shoes because they're super flat and extremely stable. If you've never worn, any kind of Olympic lifting shoes, they're just so stable. I remember when I first got them like 2 years ago. That was one of the first things that I noticed. It's extremely flat and you just feel like you're glued to the ground. So moving on to a pendulum squat, and this is a pretty unique machine. I've only ever seen one other machine exactly like this. So we're going pendulum squat and we're going reverse banded. So you can see that green band on there. And what the band is going to do is it's going to take some of the tension off at the bottom and it's going to really allow you to squeeze the quads. So you can see here, we're going 4-second negatives and then no pause at the bottom, just a 4-second negative, not coming all the way up. Really, again, trying to squeeze the quads. And I want to talk about the foot position. So you can see my feet are pretty much in the middle of that of the platform there. The higher your feet are on the platform, the less knee flexion you're going to get and the more hamstring and glute activation you're going to induce into the movement. The lower your feet are on the platform, the more knee flexion that you're going to get and the more quad activation you're going to get. So you can see from this angle here, and I'm doing a huge drop set here. So this is actually ×2 speed here. But what you can see is you can see how far my knee is tracking out over my foot, over the middle of my foot there. And actually, I probably could go down another few inches and get a little bit more out of it, but this was feeling really good on this day. So just keep that in mind when you're placing your feet on the platform. I'm going about shoulder width, toes pointed out very slightly. And at the bottom, I'm really trying to drive up, trying to push my feet out the front of my shoes. Trying to drive through my toes. Not so much driving through my heel at all. Trying not to drive through my heel at all. So just a brutal drop set here. Just keep Just keep stripping weight off. And this was probably a 5-minute set, I think. And you can see I'm not going all the way down here on the last one here, but it's just it's just brutal. So and then I actually didn't even strip any off on that last one. It just jumped right back on there. So this is kind of a unique machine. If you don't have one of these machines, I can definitely recommend, if you probably have a normal hack squat then, if you don't have a pendulum hack squat, and those are just as good. If you can't do reverse banded, you might not be able to put as much weight on there, but I wish we had a normal hack squat, but this will have to do for now. So went from there to the leg extension machine, and you guys have seen me do leg extensions before. One of the main things I'm going to say, lift that stack off very slightly at the beginning. Feel that tension in your quads, your lengthened quads at that point, and then try to just squeeze them as hard as you can. And I have this loaded so that a lot of the tension is right at the top there, so I'm not really getting a full contraction because it's getting harder as I'm raising it up. But another thing to focus on is really try to drive your hamstrings down into that pad hard, and squeeze the quads hard. That's one of the cues that I've been trying to do more when I'm doing these is really trying to drive my hamstrings down into that pad, and just being super stable, and getting a good squeeze there. So went from there to a little challenge set. So picked this up from Joe Bennett. Little challenge set on the leg press here. So pick a weight that you can hit for 30 reps, and then the next set, add weight, do another 30 reps, and then the next set, add more weight and do another 30 reps. Kind of crazy, but going a little bit lower on the platform, like we discussed, and you can see that I'm not locking out all the way. Keeping that constant tension on the quads, and just burn through these, man. You just gotta, I'm only gonna show you one set, and I made the mistake of stopping in the middle of the set. Don't stop. You just gotta keep going. If you stop, man, your quads start filling up with blood and lactic acid and start burning more than ever. You just gotta keep going, burn through them. But the main point with these I want to make is don't lock those knees out. Don't transfer that load to your joints by locking your knees out. Maintain that tension, and you can see even towards the end here, not even really going up all the way. But like I said, 3 sets of that, raising the weight. I'm only showing you guys 1, but I did 3, I promise. Went from there to something I picked up from Julian, and just doing some contractions, just doing some quad contractions, just squeezing. You can see my feet are coming off the ground. There's going to be a better angle, so you can kind of see my feet coming off the ground there, but just doing some contractions for like 8 to 10 seconds, and when your quads are filled with blood from that challenge set, this is just brutal. It's 10 seconds of pain right here. But I'll go 8 to 10 seconds on, and then 8 to 10 seconds off, and doing these superset with some sissy squats, which I'll show you in a second here. Here's that other angle. So I'm just really trying to pull my toes up and back towards me, and just flexing the quads hard. And these are actually something that I'll do sometimes before I even start my quad workout, as an activation. So before I even front squat, while I'm warming up, just doing a set of those, just doing, until I can feel a good contraction in the quads. It will really help you when you get underneath the bar for front squats, to feel it in your quads. So did a few sets of these in between sissy squats, which you're going to see in a second. And sissy squats, I threw these in my other quad video, I think, a while ago, and those are something I've been working on perfecting for a few months now, probably 6 months now, and they're feeling a lot better. I've actually started doing them with with weight. I didn't do them today with weight because I did them at the end of this leg day, but started doing them with weight. I can kind of do them without holding on anything now, but they're feeling a lot better. Really getting a good stretch in the quads. If you've never tried these, I mean, just try doing the movement and feel the stretch that you get in your quads. And after doing the contractions and doing these, you know, I need a wheelchair. I needed a wheelchair after this workout. My quads were toast. So yeah, man, add those in. Add in the Sissy Squats. I mean, I know some people are like afraid of doing them. It's such a simple movement to do. You know, if you got no pain, go for it. So that's gonna be the video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Try that challenge set. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.